У нас следующий спикер более совсем необычный. Он не русскоговорящий, зовут его Jaap. Жень, представь его, пожалуйста, потому что вы с Япом лично знакомы, тебе будет это проще сделать. Передай ему слово.
Так, ну я тогда начну на русском, а продолжу представлять Япа на английском. Вообще это мой обожаемый спикер. Яп человек, который из тех, кого я знаю, лучше всех разбирается в клиентском опыте. Занимался клиентским опытом в международных компаниях, в ING, в T-Mobile, и больше, мне кажется, 20 лет в этой теме. Вот. Я Япа обожаю. So, okay, Yap, I was talking to the guys that I love you. So, actually, I met this guy first time nearly a year ago, and Jaap was in Moscow for 6 masterclass, and that time I understood that this guy is really good. So we have a short video about Jaap, you will see, and then we'll hear, and Jaap will talk. So, okay. Okay, that's it. So, do you really love Roquefort? We can't hear you. Unmute your phone, please.
I'm completely ready. And if you allow me to share the screen, I'll give it a go.
Yep. Let's do it.
Yeah, but I can't share. You have to grant me access.
Ребят, пошарьте, пожалуйста. Дайте, пожалуйста.
There it is.
Okay.
Okay, you can see this, right?
Yep.
All right. So let's start this. Really cool to be in this community. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope my English is good enough for you. If you've got any questions or any remarks that you didn't understand, you can always reach out to me. But I'm going to go for this presentation for now. So what I'm going to start with is first a slide about me. It's got a lot of logos, a lot of Boy Scout badges, but basically it shows where I'm coming from. As Yevgeny just said, I was head of global MPS at financial services institution ING. I think it's well known in Russia as well. And I was head of global MPS for 13 countries in Europe and Asia. I've done that for 5 years. After that, I started out on my own and became an independent. So this is my logo, Wilms & Co. And basically, I do 2 things. I give masterclasses around CX and MPS and CX storytelling around the world. And I am a consultant and a sparring partner for large companies. I am also a guest lecturer at universities. And I am one of the 6 trainers in the world that is allowed to give the CXPA training. So that out of the way, let's start. Let's see what CX is all about. If you look at the world, the changing world, there is a fantastic survey done by a company called Walker, and it showed that 91% of business leaders believe that customer centricity is a priority for growth. So that is good, because even if you don't believe in customer centricity, at the very least you should scratch your head thinking, if 91% of the world believes it, shouldn't I believe it as well? Take a look at another one. 65% say the next 3 years will be more critical and transformational than the past 50 years. So it's really good that you are here, because you are at the forefront. And in the coming 3 years in Russia, you will see an enormous change. 74%, now it really gets interesting, admit they are actively trying to disrupt the sector in which they operate and do not want to wait until they are disrupted by competitors. So again, it's good that you are here. 86%, this is a fun one, are really concerned about millennials. And mind you, both customers and employees, because the customers you want to attract, but the employees within your company actually have to execute it. How do their differing wants and needs change the business? People are extremely concerned about that if they really get it. And 70% of all organizational change efforts don't meet expectations because of resistance from managers or other employees. Why should we do CX? Why do we need to do this? Most change efforts fail. So that's kind of a daunting task. So if you take a look at this, the adapting to this changing customer and consumer behavior and the way that... Sorry?
Okay.
Adapting to this and the differentiating yourself from the competition with it to get to sustainable growth, and doing this through an organizational change strategy that covers the entire company. Bloody hell, that is a lot. And this is what customer experience is about. So, the next competitive battleground. 80% of the customers say the experience a company provides is as important as its products and services. This is research done in Europe and the US. 80%, that is ridiculous. And guess what? You absolutely need to tackle this, and you need the data. You need the insights in customers' lives to understand what's happening, what their behavior is. You want to identify the opportunities and actively manage all the experiences. Why? So you can predict future financial growth. Let's get one thing straight. CX usually is seen when people are not really comfortable with it yet. It is very often seen as something that is cuddly and cute and it's hugging customers. No, not with me. That is not the way it is. CX is about value. Take a look. Data. And I'm not going to go through all of them. But just a few. The first one, 93%, 9 out of 10 businesses don't have the analytical capability to predict what individual customers will want. Over half think they are best in class. Those two don't match. The middle one is horrible. Only 8% see their customers as more than just one segment. I mean, come on, this is the 21st century. And we are still seeing companies that think the customer is the customer. Seriously, grow up. Most organizations are not collecting, they're not using it, they are not adapting to a changing world, and they will fail. So, is CX the holy grail? Is CX the answer to everything? Well, maybe, but it's really very hard. These are questions or comments I hear a lot. Why is it necessary? Well, I just explained this to you. I don't understand and I don't care. Well, okay, fine. Then in 5 years' time, you're out of business. I'm not really into data. That's your choice, but it's not a smart one. Sure, I'll train my frontline staff. I'll teach the employees to be kind. No, that is not what it means. And I love this one in the middle. I tried and it didn't work, so CX is stupid. It's the fault of CX. It's not my fault. Well, hang on. No. CX is about hard value. It is an impact multiplier. You have invested a lot of money in attracting new customers, in trying to build a product and offering a service that attracts customers, new customers, and keeps customers with you. Protect that. So let's see, which investment are we talking about? As a rule of thumb, a regular marketing budget is, 2 to 10% of corporate annual turnover. And that is all spent on campaigning to get new customers in. So if you're really a big bank, right, and I've seen that a few banks are here, if you're really a big bank and you've got a huge turnover, that means you're spending this every single year, a Bugatti Veyron. And you're attracting loads of new customers. And then what? We don't know. They're in. So others can take it up because that is for support or customer services or location. The shops can do whatever they want because they just have to be nice to the customers so they won't leave. Oh, no. It's about the successful transformation of the entire organization. And that is what makes CX so hard. You've got to do it all. And not as an afterthought, not after you've realized some really cool product or feature and you've launched it in a market and you think, oh shit, what do I have to do with all those new customers? No. So the lines you see here from CX strategy to measurements to performance, your organization, how do you activate it, upskill and upscale, how do you innovate? This is all part of CX. And you have to do it all, from strategy all the way down to organizational adoption. But, I've only got 15 minutes, so I can't do all of this at once. So I'm just going to have fun with one thing. And I'm going to call it the fabric of life. Because if there is one thing that is really funny and really important, it is that you understand that you're not a standalone. You are a part of a customer's life with all the stress and all the energy and the strange connections and hobbies and interests and discussions that person has. So let's take a look at one example. And I love this example. And of course, for a Russian audience, I've taken this one, Tinkoff. You know this, so I'm not going to spend too much time about it on it. But I love the fact that it is connecting and that it's seeing its core service, which is finance, as an enabler for a consumer to do stuff with. So what better way to actually enable that access to buy food and flowers and buy your sauna subscription? It's absolutely great. And I know there is a lot to do around Tinkoff with Oleg being very rude to customers, which is really funny. And yesterday they announced the merger with Yandex. It's really going to be exciting. It's even a next step in the evolution. But it's just an example. And I've taken another example from another bank, and this time it's Kuala Lumpur. And I like this one. It's RHB, and they recognize something that is, especially in Asia, it's very specific. The stress when young people, remember the millennials, when they get home and they get into discussions with their family around their career. And traditional Asian families really focus on an academic career, and young people want to do something different. It causes a lot of stress. And RHB actually addresses that with a really cool video. And this guy you see, he's called Chai Yu Fung, also known as Mushi, and he's in the esports which is one of the newest sports you can remember. He's a professional gamer, and it's a very endearing video in which his parents show that although they don't understand at all what he's doing, they are still backing him with the support of the bank. Just connecting those things in lives is really important. So, from the automotive industry, because if we stick to banks all the time, that is boring, right? So, have 5 seconds to consider what does Ford mean to you? Why would you buy a Ford? Who will buy Ford? Chances are you really don't know because, Ford is just Ford. But it turns out Ford is especially popular with young families. Young families, because it's a safe car, it's an affordable car, and it's a big car, so the baby fits in the back with the baby crib. And now this is a company that has actually looked into their data, and they know their core segment is parents. And what do parents need? A good night's rest. For everyone that has kids, all those nights that you were awake, it's absolutely killing. And I know, I've got 3 kids. I'm completely exhausted. So I know. And what do they do with it? They took their engineers, high-class engineers, because they are making the cars anyway, and they turned it to improve people's life. This is what they came up with, the baby crib. It's a crib that you can put the baby in. It actually moves, it's automated, and you can download the route that you take with your car, so it mimics that movement, and it even gets better, because even, the traffic lights that spin around you when you're driving the car by night, they can actually replicate that on the sides. You see that little glow over there? Because a baby never sleeps so good as in the back of a car. Everyone knows that. So this is a perfect example of a company really understanding what their customers are and how the product, in this case a car, fits into the bigger picture, the fabric of their lives. Another one, just because it's funny. And let's talk about beer. This is, at the meantime, this is a brewing company, and it's a really fun beer company. And they recognized that at one point in time, they were selling all their beers, and they had to produce a nice environment. So they created wallpaper. And the wallpaper is based on the hop they are using as an ingredient. And all of a sudden, a brewing company turns into a wallpaper company, and the wallpaper is even more popular than the beer. Because they understand, and they are not confined by their boundaries. They're breaking out. I love this one. Talk about stress. We've got COVID on our hands. We've already seen loads of impact. So cosmetics, they've got a rough year because people stay at home. There is no need to buy cosmetics. On the other hand, you see an absolute boost in sales of luxury food, the intimate industry, and I think one of the speakers will talk about that. But also it introduces the concept of a Zoom face. So many people see their face on Zoom, and they don't like it. They get anxious about it, and they buy fillers, Botox, and go to plastic surgery. Seriously, I'm not kidding. This is the impact of 2 seemingly unrelated things. You've got COVID, it forces you to do Zoom, and it opens up a whole bunch of new opportunities. Okay, so, too hard? Yeah, maybe, because this is all about high tech, and this is all about development and trends. You need loads and loads of money. Well, think again. And I always love Pixar. And their quote, their philosophy, saying focus on the story, not the technology or the budget behind it. because this is a flower stand I saw in London. And the only very low-tech thing they did was to write the verbatim on the placard. Thank you so much for my wedding flowers. They were absolutely stunning. Everyone at the party, even the registrar, said how fantastic they were. So thank you for looking after my flowers. I love this. I took this photo immediately. So lesson learned, you don't need to do high tech, high budget. It is the mindset that counts. So, takeaways. There are a lot of misconceptions about what CX is and what you need to successfully drive it with all those different things and skills and topics. And as said, I just had 50 minutes, so I just took one thing out of it. But if I've done my job correctly, you've seen that you have to cover all the bases from strategy all the way to organizational adoption and change. But it allows you to adapt to a changing customer environment, to changing consumer behavior, and to win a competitive edge. Boosting growth. Let's not kid ourselves. We want to have that competitive edge and we want to lead the way and be the most successful company in the region and in the world. So that's it for me. And I have added a picture. Yevgeny said so. I held a masterclass in Moscow. This is just a teaser. If you really want to know more, just give a shout. And for now, I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Jaap. So actually, we're a little bit short on time. So I have one question to you, and I think we even had discussion about something like this. So remember this line with the 7 points that seeks measurement, strategy, and so on.
Yep.
So for example, I work in a bank or retail, and the company is not completely CX style. So CEO doesn't say that client experience is our first priority. So, and I want to change it, but I'm, for example, in CRM department or some client services department or something like this. What would be your advice to such a guy if he wants to populate six topic in the company and wants to like change it from inside? So what can a guy do?
So my advice would be, if I understand the question correctly, my advice would be lie. Very simple.
Lie?
Yes, just do it. Make it small. Don't try to do it top down and involve the entire company. Do what is in your control and just don't say this is CX. Once you've made it into a success, then you can put a sticker on it. Well, dear CEO, you love this, right? Actually, this was CX and I can do a lot more. And you grow into your role. It's not something you can claim because they won't believe you. Just make small things happen and make it grow and make sure everyone knows it's CX, but don't start with it. Just do it.
And if I need budget for such things, how should I act?
Make small budgets. I mean, people don't trust CX because they think it's cuddly, it's emotion, it's hugging customers. They don't understand it. So prove small initiatives. And if you've done one initiative with a small budget in your control and it's a success, and you've done another one, and you've done another one, then go to the CEO and say, those 3 initiatives, they all fit together under one umbrella, and that is called CX. And now I want the CX title, and I want triple the budget. Make it grow, make it grow.
Okay, so I have another question from practical point of view. Did you test your online webinar for CX? because I remember that you tried it in the summer to make it
Yeah,
online.
yeah.
Yep.
No, it does.
Is
It
it
does.
ready?
It does. Yeah, it is. It is. It works. Works like a charm.
Oh,
You
that's
get the
nice.
thing. You get the same thing as here, as right now. So if you like this, it's exactly the same but more intense.
Okay, so that's for everyone, not for Jaap. So I think that we'll try this online format with Jaap and make some additional announcement to gather people for this masterclass. And I personally took part in this one. It's really great. And thank you, Jaap, for that time and for this time also. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
And I remember that you want to come to St. Petersburg.
Yes, I'd love to see that. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you.
Thank you.